Hello and welcome to Mission Nonprofit. I'm your host, Robert Kam. On Mission Nonprofit, we feature a local nonprofit organization from the Thurston County area. And this month, we have KAOS Radio. With me to talk about KAOS Radio is Jerry Drummond and John Ford. Welcome, guys.
Hi, Robert.
And
Thanks
Jerry,
for having us.
You're the general manager, and John, you are the development director, right?
Indeed.
All right. So this year, you guys are talking about your 40th anniversary. You're 40 years on the radio, correct?
40 years
Absolutely.
the KAOS has been going, yes.
January 1st, 1973, they flipped the switch.
Can you tell us about how it all got started?
Some students wanted to make a radio station.
Yeah.
And they explored it. It was a student group, and it got cleared. Whopping 10 watts.
Oh.
The old joke was you could warm up your grilled cheese sandwich on the windowsill of A dorm from the signal of KAOS.
So it just went out to campus?
Not too far. I mean, depending on how much is in the way, radio is a line of sight signal. At least I always worry about it. If I get this wrong, Jerry, bail me out.
I shall.
Leave me in a lurch.
Okay.
So as long as there's nothing blocking it, you get it. Even 10 watts goes a long, long way until the power runs out. It went from there to, I believe, 200 watts. And then in increments to our current, we're at 1,100 if I'm not mistaken right now.
1,100 watts right now.
We can do more. We wash over onto another 89.3 FM a little over to the east, and we're not bad neighbors. We don't do that.
And that's a good thing to mention out. Your station is 89.3.
Yep.
On the FM dial.
That's correct.
89 1/3, as they called it back in the 80s.
And I love your call letters. KAOS are perfect. KAOS.
Well,
It gets us lots of attention,
It does.
especially when we go to conferences and the like with other radio beings that everybody's envious.
the coolest call letters on the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be fun. Yeah, and I know that, I guess everything from the west of the Mississippi it starts with K's. Is that
That's
correct?
correct.
And then everything on the east
W's.
side. W's, right.
And we're both from W country.
Oh, you guys are from New York.
Western New York,
Yep.
the Great Lakes area. I hail from Niagara Falls, New York, and Jerry comes to us from Dunkirk.
And you just happen to both meet at KAOS?
Yeah.
I was there. He brought me a photograph of large snowbanks, but he thought I missed the snowbanks. And, no.
Well, for people out there who have never heard KAOS, can you give us a rundown of what it is? What kind of stuff can you hear on KAOS?
Well, certainly it is an eclectic presentation. The emphasis is on independent music, and to define that a little bit, 80% of what we put on the air is from independent small labels, the do-it-yourself sort of musicians, and the other 20% can be major label, the recording stars of the day, and we try to encourage folks to not play the hits. So it's more of that eclectic presentation, and even within that, then it's broken down further. We have multiple hosts that do a variety show. They'll work their way through all the genres, but then we also have specialty shows where they'll focus on whether it's folk music, reggae, like that, and certainly the entire schedule is put together that way. So probably 2-hour blocks, then it'll change.
Yeah, so if you don't like what you listen to, tune back in 2 hours and you're going to have a different show on with completely
Absolutely.
different music.
Yep.
We're truly unique even amongst non-commercial stations in that we are a student group, but the station itself is licensed to the Evergreen State College, and by choice, we serve the community at large. It's not a matter of being a student to be on the air, nor being a paid host. If you're on the air at KAOS, you're one of the community volunteers, and anyone can be a community volunteer.
So let's talk about how that's done. Anybody can come and be a DJ, basically, right?
Well, there is the process. I mean, we require everybody, even if they had prior experience, because often we'll get folks that went to a community college or even a high school station, but they still need to go through our 6 weeks of training. I mean, that is certainly one of the legacies of KAOS is the training for on air, and we've kept it free. All you need to do is make the commitment. So then the folks, it's 2 hours a week for 6 weeks and covers all the aspects of basic broadcasting, and there is a certification exam at the end of it, but it ends up, it's an open book exam. So the point is we want people knowledgeable of the broadcasting rules, but we also would like to get them on the air. It's not put in place, those standards aren't put in place to try to limit people's access. It's just to be accountable for the broadcasting rules.
Right, because you're licensed by the FCC and there's certain things that you have to do.
Absolutely. And
So
certain things you can't do.
And we do emphasize on the what you can, because the idea is to give the volunteer the tools to be their best selves on the air. We're telling ourselves to the audience, not unlike TCTV volunteers, the primary difference being that Thurston Community Television, our good friends here, you're a pure public access outlet. With cable, you don't quite have the restrictions. Obviously, you cannot libel or slander someone, but other than that, it's not no restrictions. Whereas in broadcast, there are a lot more rules, and when the FCC quit requiring individual licenses for that sort of thing, they put the onus upon us to be able to certify that those who we let on the air knew the rules and could handle things like, well, far more important than the, say, worrying about what language you're using, knowing how to do an emergency alert test or what to do if those come through. It's about being responsible to the community and still being ourselves. And that lets us free to have the simple rule of KAOS, if you're not hearing it, why aren't you here doing it?
Yeah, if people are complaining about what's on, then they can always go and make their own show.
Absolutely, because in the first session of the training, we asked them, well, what are you bringing to KAOS that we aren't offering now? And if they have a true angle, musically, information, I mean, also public affairs shows are available, not just music shows.
Talk shows.
But if they have a burning desire, a passion for something musically, whatever the case may be, if we're not doing it, that's something we take a good look at and try to get it on the air.
That's interesting. Yeah, you're trying to make it even more diverse than it already is.
Well, that's the magic of it. The really great hosts at KAOS bring a passion and depth. They don't tell you just, here's some music. Here's why this music means something to me. Here's why I think it should mean something to you. It's context.
How about a schedule for the programming on KAOS? Is that available?
Online or at the door? Both.
There you go.
KAOSradio.org.
KAOSradio.org. So if you're listening and you want to know, what is this radio show I'm listening to right now? I've never heard this kind of music. KAOSradio.org.
And the playlists are there now too.
Really?
Changes in the digital landscape have made that possible.
And people, if they don't have radios, they can listen online, correct?
Absolutely.
Lots of places, correct?
Oddly enough, on television as well.
On television.
Radio on the television.
Yep. And that's Comcast channel 982.
So if you want to watch radio, there you are.
Watch radio. That's awesome.
We're very lucky. We get a great swath of the community from well past retirement age, whatever that is now, to I had an 11-year-old news intern one year, and the young man was nothing short of remarkable. Really? He's in college now and doing quite well for himself in journalism.
News intern, huh? So you guys have a news hour or something? Or?
We have whatever news shows volunteers choose to create.
And I know there was there's always Amy Goodman who's on, and that's
we've been with Democracy Now! 17 years, I think, since the beginning of the show. Yes, and of course we've done joint events with our friends here at TCTV featuring Amy.
Yeah, and we have Amy Goodman. If you want to see Amy Goodman, you can watch her on TCTV channel 22 at 4 o'clock every day. But on the radio, it's at 9. Is that correct?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. 9 a.m. every day, or Monday through Friday.
Correct.
Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock. 89.3. So if you're in your car and you wanted to listen to Amy Goodman, 89.3. And if you're at home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can watch her on TCTV.
And I don't know how it is for you folks, but if there's a problem with Amy Goodman, we hear about it by 9:00:30 seconds.
Nope. Yep.
Indeed.
Same thing here.
Phones light up that Christmas tree.
Yep. That's the one program that'll come on, and if it doesn't go on, we get calls. Definitely.
But, I think that's good because of Amy's commitment to community media as well. I mean, every time she's through the area, she appears on behalf of us and TCTV.
That's right. We've had Amy Goodman. We've done appearances
many times over the years.
Yep. And actually, I was going to show a clip of one of our collaborations to have an Amy Goodman appearance. I think this is at the Longhouse that we did this.
The November appearance, yes.
So I think maybe we'll go ahead and give everybody a taste of Amy Goodman. We're going to show her speaking at the Longhouse. So we'll be right back.
After all, this was a struggle between a massive military machine that had nuclear weapons and children with slingshots. Who wins that fight? Well, there was a day, a long, long time ago, that an oppressed people had a young boy with a slingshot, and that boy used that slingshot, and for that, his people would be free. So we didn't leave Palestine in total despair. In fact, we were deeply inspired by the will and determination of the people we met, people who had nothing, people who were in it for the long haul and had no intention of giving up. It was a good lesson for us to learn. It would be another 2 years before I would release my first film, Roger and Me, and it would be 8 more years before Democracy Now! Would go on the air. We became committed to doing our best with the slingshots we have. Well, this foreword by Michael Moore, I think, is a fine introduction to Amy Goodman. The book itself I think of as a bit of a slingshot. It's approaching its 3rd week on the New York Times bestseller list, so it's probably making a lot of people cringe who would rather it not be out there. It's kind of the title of the book is The Silent Majority. It's the goal of Democracy Now! To cover stories that are ignored or even at times mocked by the corporate media. And in their own way, Thurston Community TV and KAOS Radio are also slingshots that have the reach and sustainability that it's granted only by you and your generosity and volunteerism. So thank you for that. And here is Amy Goodman. Already picked out.
Thank you so much. Wow. It's wonderful to be back here in Olympia, to be here to celebrate KAOS Radio, to celebrate, Thurston Community TV, Channel 22. How many of you listen on KAOS? How many of you watch on Thurston Community TV? How many of you listen or watch online? And always know that if you listen to KAOS and you want something clarified or you want to hear something again or you want to use it in a college paper, you can get the transcript at democracynow.org. Oh, and one other thing. If you want to know how you would translate into Spanish, it is a great way to learn Spanish. Go to our website. The headlines every day are translated into Spanish, and they are read in Spanish, and over 300 radio stations run the Spanish. So it is a great learning tool every which way, and it is so great to be back in Olympia. Thanks so much for coming out today. This has been a long tour. We started in just after the Republican convention, Sarasota, Florida, celebrating a small community radio station, WSLR. We were 20 minutes late, and I said to Dennis, if we are 20 minutes late and it is the first city, we're going to be months late on the last city. We're somewhere in between today. I don't know how we managed to get lost even when we were on Evergreen campus, but I have to say it's not the worst thing in the world to get lost in the trees here. That's not something that we've had much experience with, to actually simply be walking through the woods. Well, as you know, I originally come from community radio, from Pacifica Radio, from Pacifica Radio, which was founded more than 60 years ago in Berkeley, California, the first Pacifica station, KPFA in Berkeley, 1949. We just celebrated KPFA last Sunday night in Oakland. The Pacifica Foundation was founded by a war resister who, after World War II, was let out of the detention camps, and he said, there's got to be a media outlet, not run by corporations that profit from war. His name was Lou Hill, but run by journalists and artists, and that's how Pacifica was born. As George Gerbner, the late dean of the Annenberg School of Communications, University of Pennsylvania, would say, not run by corporations that have nothing to tell and everything to sell, that are raising our children today.
Welcome back to Mission Nonprofit. The clip you just saw was a joint collaboration between KAOS Radio and TCTV, where we had Amy Goodman appear at the Longhouse at Evergreen. So I hope you enjoyed that. And again, our nonprofit this month is KAOS Radio. And it happens that we are your nonprofit of the month, too.
Yes, indeed. A little backstory. First of all, there's a third member of our management team that's not here, and she's holding on to the fort, equally vital. Ruth Brownstein, our training and operations manager. I cannot imagine where Jerry or I would be without her there. But 2 years ago, roughly now,
Let's call it that.
we attended the National Federation of Community Broadcasters Conference in San Francisco, and we're both greatly inspired by the concept of boosting community outreach. I mean, if you're going to have community in your name, it ought to be something you do. And we sat down and crafted the Nonprofit Appreciation Program, or the NAP. So you get to take a nap with KAOS. Each month we highlight a different local nonprofit. And again, the diversity of nonprofits in this area is astonishing. The amount of volunteerism in the South Sound never ceases to please and inspire me. You guys are coming right behind Feline Friends, you lucky devils.
Oh, man.
But it dawned on me that here we are with community media, and it's a natural, of course. And, our mutual friend and your boss, Deb, came in and recorded some spots with us. I still learn a lot from Deb every time I hear her work a microphone. There's no two ways about that.
She can get on the mic, she can do radio, she can do TV, she can...
Trust me, if it's media, it's in her hands, and it's
right.
all done. Now, full disclosure, I serve on the board of TCTV, so...
That's true.
You know, we don't want to disguise that fact. And if you are with a nonprofit, get a hold of us at KAOS through KAOSradio.org. We would love to work with you for a month on your nonprofit to highlight, showcase, build awareness, and we do a pretty good job of it.
Awesome.
So that's my invitation to all of you.
So again, www.kaosradio.org. And so what's the next month's?
You know, I
figured out yet?
think we haven't selected it yet.
Okay. Well, there you go. Better call. Better get on that website.
It could be you if you move quick enough.
You move on and get that on there.
It's been a pretty effective program in that for most of the years I was here, we just made it a standing invitation to nonprofits to take advantage of KAOS's service. And we found that so many didn't contact us. So the idea of us reaching out to them, that's been much more effective, and it really is building up some good relationships. I mean, just the limited amount of time the program's been in place, now we have active relationships with these groups. So it's not just a one-shot deal, a one-event deal that they're putting on, and that was the extent of it. So they're thinking of ways they can contribute to us, and at the same time we're thinking of how we could help some of their causes.
Oh, great.
We, in fact, have expanded. We really do include media literacy in the program, and we will do a workshop with your group on how to craft PSAs. We can write them. You know, I mean, we're both really good script writers, but the point is, you know your story better than we do. Yeah. But teaching you how to tell your story, well, I know that's a part near and dear to your heart here is training at TCTV, Robert.
We do training as well. That's
so it's
right.
like, that simple act of how to tell your story makes all the difference in the world, and it puts you more in control of your message. I think it even teaches you more about your organization than you knew when you started.
I don't think that there's been a program on TCTV that's also on KAOS. You know,
not yet. There was almost an indirect crossover with the original version of the show that I guess it's called now Dance O Dance.
Really? Did they do that?
Well, Justin was a host on KAOS with a music show, and he was also doing that program. So it wasn't quite, but there was a little bit of a connection. Okay. But no, and it's funny, as Ruth and I were just talking about that before we came out here, we realized that our friends down at WWOZ and down in New Orleans, part of what got them, now they have 800 volunteers, was the fact that they get talked about on an HBO show called Treme. And not to plug commercial media, but that's a very well written, very well done series. So, you know, short of having a flood, we don't want to go that far to get more volunteers. perhaps it's time for a little cross-pollination between us. We've been neighbors long enough, God knows.
Yeah. So there's the nonprofit appreciation program, and you're going to keep doing that. And every month
It's working.
Okay. So you play some spots, you play some promo or PSAs.
We create and put them on it. Normally we do not schedule PSA. We kind of like make them the dealer's choice of the host that's on the air. These we actually schedule into the schedule.
Oh, okay.
And one thing is unique about KAOS, again, public service announcements. Many larger stations put them on in the dead of night or the wee hours of the morning and bury them.
Yeah.
They are throughout our broadcast day. We do not hide our nonprofits.
Yeah, well, hey, and you know what? We haven't said the best thing about KAOS. It's non-commercial. You're not going to hear commercials.
No, as close as we get to it are our sporadic member drives and what have you.
And you know, sometimes I'm listening to one of the mainstream commercial radio stations, and I hear this same annoying commercial every break, and I have to change the channel. I have to go and change. I can't.
Or the same commercial twice in the same break. Yeah.
But that's so great that you don't have, and we don't have commercials either. So.
No, I mean, we have features, and we have public service announcements and the occasional promo spot for another KAOS show. But that means you're getting roughly 53 to 54 minutes of content in a broadcast hour. That ain't shabby.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably have more songs and
if it's music, more music. If it's talk, more talk.
You also have talk, yeah. You have talk radio too. You know what I thought was great was when we joined up and did the election results. And we carried
that
our
was always been
audio
fun,
signal.
and I remember the first time I did, and that's quite a while back, having been with the station 20 years now. The idea of, why am I going to be on camera? That's why I'm on radio, so they don't have to look at me.
You're on camera.
And Deb took all the pain out of that, okay? And it became downright fun.
Good.
It's sad now that the elections are so anticlimactic because of mail-in ballots. It's sort of like there's not nearly as much to report on as we'd like. I mean, there's still some.
There's still some.
And you guys are doing it. You're doing a great job.
Well, now that I've got you in front of the TVs, in front of the millions of people out there that are watching, you think we can do that again this next November?
KAOS is always open to partnering with TCTV wherever we can. I think that our two organizations are the finest representatives of community media probably in this part of the country.
Well, we will be doing it on Election Day. We will have those election results at 8 o'clock. So if you guys kind of keep that in mind, keep us available. Keep a little
We'll have to go to our strategy bunker, the one with the taps, and the foamy stuff in the glasses, and strategize.
Good. Strategize away. All right. Well, I don't know if we're almost done with the show. I think we're wrapping up soon. But is there anything else you guys wanted to mention out there to the folks out there in cable land?
Absolutely. KAOS, like TCTV, thrives on membership. And to that end, we're going to do a summer drive the rest of this month. We're doing a little something different. Every Saturday for the rest of the month, the 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. And we'll be here on the air asking for folks to become listener members of KAOS, to take an investment in community media just like they do here at TCTV, because it changes things when you invest in it. Knowing you help make it happen makes a difference. So I say it because he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to fundraise for us. So and vice versa. So we have to follow the rules of the IRS. But seriously, tune in. We like to have a good time when we're in there doing that, and take a piece of the action. And like I said, if you aren't hearing it on KAOS, well, I guess you better come on down, get a show, and do it.
That's true. Yeah, get over there and go through that training program. How often does that training program happen? Can you just? Is it cyclical? Does it happen every
quarter?
Roughly
every quarter. Okay, good.
But even that is roughly. When we, for the longest time, we had a waiting list of well over 100 people, and over time that has gotten whittled down. And if the demand is there, Ruth recently conducted 2 classes at once, and but genuinely, the once a quarter is our standard. It may happen even more than that.
We move the hours around as well because we know folks work during the day, so sometimes they're evening classes, sometimes they're Saturday classes. We try to accommodate as much of the community at large as possible. And of course, we always welcome more feedback on that at kaosradio.org.
There's the website again. And are those classes, when they start up, are they listed on your website somewhere?
No, we handle that pretty much by email, telling folks which one they're scheduled for, a direct connection with the volunteers. It always starts with picking up the volunteer application form, which you can get from us electronically. And there's an orientation meeting. We're shifting the culture as best we can to more clearly define our responsibility to volunteer and theirs to the organization. We truly want it to be more than just, I'm here for my show now, because that's nice. But we love the volunteers. What can I do to help? How can I get involved? How can I make a difference here? Mm-hmm. Those are the volunteers that have the longevity. Mm-hmm. Same as here. I rely on that just as much as you do.
We have our orientation people sign up for. They go through our orientation. They go through our training classes. They can come in here and make a show, just like you guys. So, but so if people did want to do that, they can email you or they can call.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. The contact page at the website or stop by. Exactly.
Or you can stop by. And you guys are located at Evergreen in what building now?
The Campus Activities Building, or the CAB.
CAB building.
If you're on Red Square, the infamous Red Square, we're to the right to the clock tower, walk in the door, go downstairs, first door on the right.
And they can do that anytime, right? And just
mm-hmm. Business hours, yeah.
Anytime during business hours, so like, you know, what is it, 9 to 5? 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, you can come down. And you can probably give them a little tour. Is that what you do?
Depending on how what you got going on that day,
busy,
yeah.
Okay.
But more often than not.
But I encourage them to do that because we do like to show off the studios.
Yeah. Well, they're new.
Yeah, we new facilities.
Relatively new, sure.
And they're really
you brought
neat.
Pictures of those.
Yes, as well as the old third floor studios for you. A little bit of that for you.
So we're gonna show them some old studios.
Little history and little future.
There you go. Yep. So is there anything else? We got a minute left.
Well, I encourage them to stop by and see the studios. Probably just say, if you haven't before, be sure to make the effort to tune in, 89.3 FM. Comcast 982, or online, kaosradio.org. Check us out.
And you got the summer membership drive going on this summer? Pledge drives this summer?
Yeah, that's just the June summer drive. And
oh, that's going on right now?
That's happening as,
coming up this weekend.
This weekend. Normally we're twice a year, fall and spring, but welcome to the new economy.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'll be putting my pledge in, so I'll get that thing. I get that form in the mail. Write that check.
Ah, yes, the old direct mail campaign.
Always appreciate them.
Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on, and good luck to you with your summer membership drive, and thanks for coming on Mission Nonprofit.
Thank you.
Wouldn't have missed it for the world. Thanks, Robert.
We'll see you next month. Thanks for watching. If you know of a local nonprofit that's making a difference in our community, give us a call at 956-3100 extension 103 or send an email to rkam@tctv.net.